Hello, and welcome back, everybody, to A Ship Called Relation. I'm your host, Jason Galka, and this is the only show here on thedailyblu.com that offers vital information on dating and relationships here in the 21st century. And today, we are talking about everything first dates, from online dating to wardrobe tips, what to wear, what not to wear, do's and don'ts, and even places to go on this fabulous island that we live. And I'm joined by a gorgeous panel of gals this morning, Corinne, Stephanie, and Brittany. Welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Great to see you. My pleasure.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. I'm very excited because we all date, and in fact, we're all in relationships. So there came a time that we all went on that very first date. So Brittany, I'm going to start with you. To my immediate left here, what was that experience like for you?
Well, I love dating, so, or I did. I was a serial dater. I loved going on dates, and all my friends were like, I hate dating. Like, it's so scary and nerve-wracking. I'm like, no, it's so much fun. You get to talk about yourself every time, all over again, and they never get sick of what you have to say.
And now she found a job that she could do that.
Yeah, on a ship called Relation. No, I love first dates. But my first date with the current guy I'm seeing it took him about 3 months to ask me on a first date.
Oh my gosh.
But he had a reason. He was on crutches. He had gotten hip surgery. So even though he was able to make it to the bar where we met.
Oh yeah.
But was too embarrassed to take me on a first date.
How old is he, Jason said? He's 85.
Yeah, he's 85. No, he's
Evan.
27. He's going to be 27.
Okay.
So he was on crutches, so he was embarrassed to take me to a restaurant, and because he couldn't hold the door, and he's very chivalrous. So
Okay.
so I got really mad actually, and he was like, "It's because I can't walk." I was like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry." So I mean, that was a factor.
Yeah.
But once he could, he went out to one crutch and took me on the first date.
Oh, that's great.
And it was good. You get that feeling. Well, I guess it was 3 months later, so I kind of already knew him. But the first date still felt very much like a first date, and you still got the butterflies a little bit, and he did everything right. The restaurant was beautiful, and still here.
Wow. Yeah. So how long have you been together now?
On and off for almost.
After all that, on and off.
On for a year and a half, off for a year, back on for another year.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to do a segment with you next week. Okay, Stephanie? Now, you're actually the youngest of our panel here, and you have a really cute story. We talked a little bit before the show. Tell me about your first date.
Well, I'm dating my high school sweetheart. We started dating when I was going into 11th grade, so we weren't able to drive yet. So he would have his dad drop me off and him at the movie theater. We would see our movie, and then we'd walk to Chili's and have a cute little dinner, and he'd open the door and pull the chair out for me, and 5 years later...
He was 16.
Yeah, he's...
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really
He was
sweet.
trained very well, so I'm happy.
That's really nice.
He's one of the nicest people. I actually worked with her boyfriend in my
Really?
old job,
That's right.
so probably one of the sweetest guys I've ever met.
Wonderful.
So it doesn't surprise me.
So let me
That's a
ask you.
keeper.
Yeah, definitely.
No,
absolutely. Now, is he still like that today, 5 years later?
5 years later, still opens the door. He gets yelled at if he doesn't. Yep. He is a good boy. I'm happy to say
That's
I'm
really
with him.
nice.
Good. That's awesome. Oh, well, best of luck to you. I'm so excited. So, let's talk about online dating now, because I feel like the majority of the world now online dates. I mean, really, it's kind of old-fashioned, and I don't really recommend dating somebody out of a bar or a club scene because A, it's too noisy. There's way too much eye candy around. I feel like the online dating is the safest way to go. But it's also scary because I know people that have gone on first dates from online dating, and the guy would say he's 6 feet tall, but yet he's here, or he looks like this and he doesn't look anything like this. So it's let's talk about how to handle those situations.
But you know what, Jason? I have met people that have really successful, thriving relationships from online dating, and it
it's
surprised
absolutely
me.
possible.
But yeah, but I think there's a lot of sites now and a lot of good ways to really meet somebody. And
I met my fiance through an online dating
Did
site.
you?
We're a
Which
success
one?
story.
but there's your bling.
There's my bling.
Loves it.
But what sites are there out there? I mean, I haven't been in the dating field.
I know a lot of
so-
people are still using Match.com. That's still a popular one. There's the Yahoo Personals. There's also
eHarmony.
eHarmony is a big one too
Yeah.
these days. In fact, I have a story from a lady that met a man on eHarmony. Not such a great experience, but we'll talk about what she may have done wrong coming up. So let's do that right now, actually, because I think it's a great story. I read these beforehand. And Joanne is her name. She's from Quorum. She writes, "Hi, Jason. I'm a divorced single woman in my early 60s trying to get back into the dating scene. I'm currently on several dating sites and I have talked to what seem like great men. Turns out there aren't so much. I recently went on a first date with a man named Brian. We had spoken several times on the phone prior to meeting, and he seemed like a dream. I was very excited to meet him, so we agreed to meet, and we met mutually at the restaurant, and he was extremely pompous from the time the date began.
Wow.
Not only did he not open the door for me, but he did not pull out my chair and spent most of the evening talking to staff members of the restaurant. As it turns out, he's a regular there and knows all of them. When he did speak to me, he had pointed out that my roots were gray, but my nails had looked nice, and bragged about his $9 million business and 2014 white BMW convertible. After about an hour, I had had enough and ended the date, leaving him at the table. I don't know how I attract these type of guys, and they sound so nice on the phone. Am I just meant to be alone? Joanne."
No, Joanne.
I feel
No,
so
Joanne,
bad
you're
for
not.
her.
I
A,
know.
she's divorced, and she's in that category of dating over 40, which is hard,
That's
really.
very hard,
It's really
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I mean, clearly that had nothing to do with her. It seems like she did everything right.
Yeah,
and
she
this
spoke to
guy
him on
was
the
just
phone.
Yeah.
a jerk.
Yeah.
Well, I think that maybe she could have asked certain questions on the phone before even wasting her time going out on a date.
True.
That's what I think.
Right.
Maybe what was their conversation on the phone? Was it just, very, kind of passing conversation? Because that, I think that you could have avoided a lot of that, knowing where a person's coming from, that they're all about money or that what's important to them. Because on the phone you can hear, are they talking about their kids? That would be very important to me to hear someone talking about their children, what kind of person that they are. What are their life goals, dreams, and missions? Not about like the value of a car or the value of their business.
Right.
Absolutely. That is rather pompous. And that's actually one of the things I absolutely suggest not doing on a first date is do not discuss your financial information whatsoever. I mean, it's important to know that the person you're going out with has a job, has income, because you don't want to be the breadwinner if this works out, okay?
No way.
So you want to make sure they can support themselves, okay? That's number one. I think she did a great thing actually meeting him there. As much as I'm very traditional and old-fashioned, the man picks you up for the date, opens your car door. At this day and
Yeah,
age,
that's scary.
yeah, it's very scary. So the fact that you met him in the public place, that's great. Keep doing that. And also because she did drive herself there, she was able to end the date because she was uncomfortable.
That's a good point.
So kudos to her.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Definitely.
I mean, I would suggest for her future just being a little more descriptive on the phone, be asking better questions and not wasting time. But I always have a question about, if you're on one site, like I hear my single friends saying, "Oh, he's all over every dating site," and how much is too much? And I mean, if you're looking, then wouldn't you want to be on every site?
Right.
Right?
Very
It
true.
also makes me nervous too because if you're on a site, say, and you start dating someone, how do you know that they've taken themselves off of all the other sites now that they're dating you? Like, do you really
Very
know?
true.
That's why I think
That's what I
that
used to wonder too.
yeah, I think that I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I say start some hobbies. Do some things you like,
I'm
and
with
chances
you on
are you
that,
could meet
Brittany.
someone
Yeah.
during just doing hobbies,
sure.
or just go food shopping a lot more. You never know who you can
But
meet
you
in the
know,
grocery store.
Exactly.
I think that's a great
So many
tip, but
hot guys
some
at grocery
people are
stores.
not sociable and they're
Yeah.
introverts. And like we were out last night and it was an amazing experience seeing a lot of single people
Yes.
like really just
Yeah.
all they're really doing is just scoping the crowd, looking.
Yeah.
And I think hobbies is a great idea, but if you're an introvert and you're home, then it's kind of easier to be behind that computer
Right.
to try to meet
it's kind
somebody.
of a safety net too, because I think you feel more comfortable if they're not in front of you, so you can talk a little bit more about yourself. And
Right.
certainly when you do meet in person, you could totally revisit those conversations and just add more detail. I like what you said about the grocery shopping idea, and here's a little tip. If you are scoping out in the grocery store, don't use the big wagon because that says family.
Yeah.
Use the little hand cart that says, "I'm single, I'm just getting what I need for the next week." Okay, so
Okay, but
quick
wait
tip.
a minute, Jason. That's really funny, and I love that. But if you have a lot of kids, then you kind of don't want to set the impression that I'm single and I'm just buying, a couple of eggs, because then they're like, "Whoa, I thought you look so cute at the store with your little cart, but you have like 6 kids at home."
Well, that's a little surprised you could
Start shopping
talk
on the liquor
about
store
it.
or something.
You know, reel them in first, and then they'll love everything else about you.
I love it. Love it. I love it.
Okay, our next story is actually from a man. His name is Bill from New York, and he writes, "Hi, Jason. I have a funny but horror story of a first date I had several years ago. I was a single gay man, and my best girlfriend was trying her hardest to set me up. She had a gay coworker and thought we would be perfect together, so I had her introduce me. I figured, why not? It's a friend of a friend. How bad could it be? There's your first mistake. How bad could it be? Well, it was bad. Since he was a friend of a friend, I thought it would be okay to meet him at his place for the first date for dinner and a movie. I showed up on time and was greeted by him at the door. I went in and he led me to the room where the TV was, and it was the only TV in the house. It was also the room where his 94-year-old grandmother laid asleep in her hospital bed."
Whoa.
LOL. I was immediately uncomfortable, but being the nice guy I am, I sat down quietly as to not wake her. Shortly after, I hear her get up and go over to the commode, and there was a noise and then a smell.
Oh.
Yes, that's what she was doing. I couldn't take any more and decided to end the date. I was out the front door before he could say a word or stop me. I thanked my friend for the thoughtfulness and said I can handle my own dating life from here. Okay, excellent way to end. I'll handle my own dating life from there.
Right.
Thank you, friend. But let's talk about this now. This is
Let's talk about
this
it.
is extremely
he didn't even
unusual.
make it to the date. He just made
No,
it.
the date never started.
Yeah, wow.
Right.
Wow.
I say don't bring a first date home.
No.
Ever. Not
Ever.
even. Like, just
No.
meet them at the door and walk out and go on your date. There's no reason to.
Because everyone has a life, and
Right.
I think that you don't get the chance to really know anybody or put personal things away,
Yeah.
maybe prior pictures, or it could really be not a good circumstance, and you're
Yeah.
sort of trapped in that.
Yeah, that very well could have happened. Especially that's why I always recommend meeting in public, because if they pick you up, then you're kind of stuck with them until
Yeah.
they're ready to bring you
Yeah.
home. So,
agree.
right.
Wow, that's a bad one.
That's a really bad one. So,
But you could look at the positive with that and say, "Whoa, he's taking care of his
that is
grandma. How sweet is this?"
or move the TV into another part of the house. Why is it
Well,
in
watch
her
TV.
room
He watched
specifically?
TV with grandma. I mean, how
Save
sweet.
it for the second date, though. You know?
Oh my goodness, so funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna see the good in everybody. Okay.
It was so funny. I do love the fact that friends are trying to set their friends up, and
Yeah.
sometimes there are positive stories that come out of that. How do you feel about that?
Yes.
I met a friend through, my boyfriend was friends with my friend, and that's how we met. I'm a huge fan of friends setting up friends with other people, because with the online dating sites, you don't know anything about this person, who they are, what they are, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But at least with a friend, it's someone to say, you know, he's not going to murder you.
Yeah, that's
Or,
important.
you know, like
Yes.
he's,
Yeah.
you know, he's okay.
Yes, because I felt that.
Yeah.
Right.
Or something like that. But also, they still have matchmakers, and it's not online, but it's someone that you could go to who says, okay, I know I've screened this person, so I know that he's real,
True.
you know,
Yeah, true.
in some
Very
ways.
true.
So
But you know, if you're hanging around a whole bunch of single friends and they love going out with you,
Yeah.
then they may not want. They want to sabotage,
It's true.
future potential
It could
dates,
very
right?
be-
Right,
So
that's
you really have to know who your friends are, as you said earlier,
True.
before we started rolling. So that's important to know. So let's talk about what we should wear on this first date now, because clothing is everything, and it really, I feel like what you wear expresses who you are. So you want everything to go off without a hitch. So let's start with the men first, because I think single straight men especially need the most help. So men, you want to be well groomed.
especially.
Okay, straight men especially need the most help. So you want to be well groomed. Go get your hair cut. If you're in a certain age bracket and need to dye the roots, please do so. Trim all mustaches and beards, because if the vibe is right and you go to do a kiss goodnight, she doesn't want to end up with a mouthful of hair. So if you love scruff, just trim it down to scruff. And also, nobody likes a unibrow anymore, so there's nothing wrong with a straight man getting his eyebrows waxed. That's important.
We do have a suggestion. We have a wonderful
Yes.
guy, Daniel Maroon, who came on. He has a company called Evolve, and he actually will evolve the man into looking really sharp for his first date.
Excellent. Well, we'll have to bring him in
you
here.
definitely
Oh,
do.
definitely.
Definitely.
Now,
Excellent.
what I want to know is after you set that impression for both of you guys, because I have a different experience, but did you see a change after that first date as time went on? Because if they look sharp and they get, they manscape and everything, great. But what happens? What happens on the, when they get a little more relaxed and they're not on their best behavior?
They're a little bit bit more free. They're a little bit more comfortable. But I have to say, with age, my boyfriend looks better. I see him more masculine looking, and I'm happy that I've seen him as a little kid and his transformation.
Right.
So I'm happy
Right.
with it.
Yeah. And you?
He had longer, actually, yeah, he was sloppier when I first met him.
Yeah, he's
I
really
think that
cut.
I feel like I kind of helped change
You trained him.
Yeah, I trained him, I think.
They don't come out of a box like that.
no.
You have to put work
Yeah.
into it and train them.
Absolutely.
But I think that sometimes even with me, like sometimes I'm more relaxed about how I look, and
Yeah.
but I think if as a woman you're going to put the time in to look good,
Yeah.
I expect that he's going to do the same, on this date.
Yeah.
And if the beard is a little too scruffy and he kisses me and it hurts, then forget it. You're not kissing me until you shave it. Then.
Buzzer.
But if you're, you're assertive, Brittany, and I think that you're very good at communicating, and that's very important. But if you're not such a good communicator, I think prior to the first date when you're on the phone, I think that you can say little hints about what your expectations are, and if the person is really into you, I think that they'll make adjustments.
Yeah,
Something that
absolutely.
good with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think something
Yeah.
that a lot of people ask on the phone on their first conversation or one of their first is like, what do you look for in like a woman? And that's like your time to say, if he's well, what do you look for? I'm like, oh, well, I like a little like cleaner, shaven. I love when a guy wears button-ups, like just throw things out there. And
Right.
it's like hint, hints.
Yes.
And I'm sure.
Please don't show up in the sweatshirt.
It's like your
Unless we're
friends.
cuddling.
Yeah.
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 That's
You shouldn't do on the first date.
No, you should not.
No cuddles?
Really? Unless you're in like a drive-through movie or something. But that's
But I always think
years
of
ago.
like the first date is like me being in show business and entertaining. Like I'm constantly on auditions and awaiting callbacks. So I kind of look at first dating like an audition. Like you're auditioning these guys or girls, whatever it is you're into these days. You're looking for a soulmate. So you're taking these auditions. You've given them the opportunity, and if everything went well, then the next day you give them the callback, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
You know?
I have a question on a first date. I mean, suppose you see sparks fly, right? I mean, what are the barriers of like, you sparks are flying and you're like, whoa, oh, what are the barriers of like being careful and not being, you got to be conservative,
You
right?
do. I mean, you don't want to come off too easy or too pushy either, especially on the first date. But I'm the type of person where I feel like if it's going well, and it's a mutual thing, then it's okay. Like anything can go as long as it's a mutual. Like you don't want to come off very pushy or too easy, and the other person's not up there with you. But I feel like you would know.
Oh my God.
But I feel like you would know that. Am I right? Like, what do you guys think from your dating experiences?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you know.
Yeah.
You
You absolutely
really
know. You have to
Yeah.
feel
Some
comfortable.
guys are very deceiving, though. Sometimes you
They
don't
are.
know.
They can play
It's
the-
all like a game to some people.
Yeah.
You know what I really hate when I was dating, and this is something that usually happened when I was younger, but we'd go on the first date, and then sometimes, and I don't know where this came from, but a man thinks, at least the younger ones, and maybe you know what I'm talking about, that they have to wait 3 days before they call you, and you know that they're gonna do
That's
it, and you're like,
agonizing.
and then on the third day you're like, yeah, hi.
And it's so silly.
now
Why
I'm not
do
interested.
that?
Yeah.
But
Why
it
do that?
I remember guys saying like, you gotta wait 3 days,
Yeah.
like in high school and stuff. And I'm like, are you
Yeah, I
gonna
remember
carry this on? Like,
And what a shame, because when you play games like that, you don't really fully communicate and get to really know the person because they're following some rules that
And
someone
you're
else
creating
wrote.
hostility by making them
Yeah.
wait.
Right away. You know what I hate? When girls are doing their best to like kind of be with other guys or make another one jealous. It's just silly to play
Yeah.
games like that. Not just girls, but guys too. There's no reason to create jealousy, especially when you're first starting out.
Right.
If that guy hasn't called you in 3 days and you're posting pictures
Right,
of you
right.
being with all sorts of
Yeah.
other guys. I
Yeah.
mean, to me, that would be like a red flag that
Yeah.
that's not going to be a healthy relationship.
Right.
No,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Okay, sorry.
So, what do we want to see them? When we see them for the first time, what should they be wearing?
Where are you going?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
a very
Good
good
point.
question.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're going to, just to hang out at a local bar and have a drink, then why get in a suit?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, I think I think we're all first date ready here, really, because my suggestion to the men is if we are meeting for cocktails or just, a nice Italian dinner someplace, there's great places on Long Island here for first dates. And of course, we have the harbor in Port Jeff, which is a nice walk in the evenings. I feel like a blazer, a button down, and a khakis or a nice pair of jeans
Yeah.
is
I
perfectly
think that's
fine.
very nice.
Button up is key.
Yeah. No
I'm not
tie,
wear it with
though.
jeans.
No.
No.
No tie.
And I think for the girls in the summertime, you can wear a sundress and make it look good no
Maxi
matter
dress.
where
Yeah.
you are. So it's just like the
Exactly.
perfect outfit for work, for out, for
Absolutely.
late night, for day, even if you do go to have a drink at a casual place.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's great to look your best in that
And
way.
heels are great, I feel like, for the ladies, but you never know where a first date could lead you. So if you are going to wear heels, my suggestion is throw some flats in your bag or in your trunk.
idea.
You know, always have flats on hand.
Great.
Wedges are a great first date shoe because even if you're on a boardwalk, it's okay because your stilettos aren't going to slip in the cracks. But you could they're still kind of casual in a way.
Oh yeah, and
So.
it's still very dressy, very
Yeah.
dressy. I mean, we're all first date ready, really. I mean, this is something I could wear. This is my suggestion.
Okay, I love it.
So, ladies, what do you want to do with your hair on your first date? Let's talk about some hair and makeup tips for our viewers.
Great question, because I think if you're going out and it's hot, then and you know you're going to be a hot mess, then maybe you should consider just throwing up in a pony.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
A nice pony.
Yeah, like this is beautiful,
exactly
perfect.
like that. Yep. For makeup, I say highlight your best features, but not too much.
Yes.
I even say sometimes, don't always feel like you need to do like a red lipstick on the first date. Sometimes it's intimidating to guys, and if you're expecting that kiss, then you might not want to be wearing the red. But I say go a little more natural. I mean, it's important for him to know like what he's getting into, like who you
tip.
are.
Yeah.
This
Good
is true.
advice.
Yeah, but
This is true.
makeup is
Very
a must.
true.
I think just not too much.
Yeah, and I always recommend doing like a trial run through, just to, save some time, and then you know it looks great, and then when the day comes, boom, it's on and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Always be on time too. That's
Always
a
be on
big
time.
tip.
And don't do the bait and switch. Be yourself, because nobody wants to you're getting the bait and you're perfect and you're on your
Right.
best behavior, and then all of a sudden you're a completely different
180.
person.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
scary.
it's very scary.
Very true. Well, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank
we got to
you.
wrap it up. What a great
what a
show. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. If you have a story you'd like to share with me here on A Ship Called Relation, you could email me, Jason_Galka, Galka, @yahoo.com. I will always take your tweet questions as well, @JasonGalka, and I'm on Facebook, so you can find me anywhere, and maybe we'll read your story next week. Coming up next week, we're going to be talking about everything cheating, what we consider cheating, now with social media, texting.
Excellent subject.
Yes. What do we
Excellent.
think is cheating? So we're going to go through all of that and also talk about signs to look for if your mate might be cheating on you. That's
Ooh, I
next
love
week.
it.
Yes.
Good one.
Nice.
Definitely check back next week. I'm Jason Galka. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank
we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.